everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wife for Life with none other than your favorite marriage specialist, Michelle McElroy. And today we have the fantastic, the dynamo, Mahsa Hankins. Y'all give it up for Mahsa. Yay!
Hi. Thank you for having me.
The girl, I'm so happy to share you with the audience, with the viewers, with the listeners today. So why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Again, my name is Mahsa Hankins, and I'm married to my wonderful husband, Jonathan Hankins, and he's a 13-year vet with the Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought we were going to retire, but nope, another season. Yeah, we share two beautiful kids together and currently live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Nice. Now, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 2 years, but together for 6.
Nice. I love it. Okay, now I like to go from the beginning, right? Right. And you skip some stuff, but we're gonna mix
Sorry.
some things up around. No, it's okay. You're good. Because listen, I want to hear some more about you, right?
Yeah.
I think we all want to hear some more about you. But before we get to that, I want to hear how you guys became a couple. Tell us the backstory.
Yes. So it was, I would call fate that brought us together. So I used to live in Dallas, Texas before I met Jonathan. So after college, I moved there. And on a night out, I met Jonathan. And even in a loud, crazy club, we ended up having a full conversation the entire time that led to him asking me to come visit him or go with him to Las Vegas. And this is before we lived here or he lived here. And yeah, just made a weekend hanging out. And I never thought I would see this man again because once I found out he played football, I was like, oh, the type. Like, I was just thinking the stereotype of him being a football player, and this is just like what he does. And so I never expected to ever talk to him again or see him again. But coincidentally, we just kept texting. And like 2 weeks later, after that initial hangout, he texted me. He's like, "What are you up to?" And I was in Michigan visiting my family.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Oh, just visiting family." He's like, "Oh, where?" And I told him where I was. And literally the next text was, "I'm coming to pick you up." So, and I was like in shock. I'm like, "What do you mean you're coming to pick me up?" He says that he's from Detroit, and that's about 30-minute drive from where my brother lived, that where I was visiting, and that he was there visiting his family at the time. And yeah, I would say like that was like, I guess, our like shock of a start. And
Yeah.
ever since then, yeah, he just made the effort to visit me or made plans for me to come visit him. And just we were really consistent in each other's lives in the beginning, and then yeah, until we moved in together. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Crazy. Yeah,
Like,
I
I
never grew
think
up in Michigan. So
uh-huh.
my family just coincidentally moved there because of my brother's work.
Mhm.
So for him to be from there, and I feel like the cards just fell in the right place for us.
Fell in alignment.
Yes.
Man, it does not get better than that. And I
Mhm.
know you were like coming to pick me up. I said I was in
Yeah.
Michigan.
Who are you?
Insane. And I
Yeah.
just love how, your expectations did not align with what actually happened. Like, I think sometimes, even once we're in the relationship, we have these false expectations of each other that I love it when they don't manifest,
Right.
especially when they're negative.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that was really cool because sometimes as girls, we kind of talk ourselves out of something special.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So thank goodness that wasn't the case. And I just love you guys. I got a chance, guys, to meet her husband, and they are the sweetest couple. I love them so much.
Thank you.
So Now, you said by happenstance, your family was in Michigan. They moved to
Yeah.
Michigan because your brothers work. Tell us about your family history, a little background, and
Yeah.
how they got to Michigan.
Okay, it's a long story, but a great one.
Okay. Well, give us the abbreviated version.
Abbreviated version is
Yeah.
that my family migrated from the country of Iran. Um, for me, my siblings moved a little bit before me, but I moved in 2004 when I
Mhm.
was 9 years old, I believe. And so, yeah, my brother, he had a great career in the medical space. He's a trauma surgeon,
Mm.
and he decided to stay for his after his rotations and fellowships and all that in Michigan. And I think there's a real call for him to be there just because, you hear the crazy stuff that happens in Detroit and the need for trauma surgeons and doctors in the emergency realm of it. So that's how he ended up there. And then for my parents, we lived in Kansas for a majority of our time in the US.
Mhm.
And so once I moved to Texas, my parents were just kind of lonely in Kansas and decided to move to Michigan to help my brother with his two children. Now, I do have a sister that lives in California and another brother that lives in Washington, D.C. So
Ooh.
currently we're all over the place.
Yeah.
But Jonathan and I are building our forever primary home in Michigan. So
Aw.
that's what we're most excited about, to have like a true home base with family around.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So you said you guys originally met, did you say in California?
No, we originally met in Texas
In
where I
Texas.
lived.
That's right.
Yeah. And then,
So how
yes.
did you get to Texas?
So I decided after college that I was just too big of a personality to live in Kansas. And Dallas was just like the next closest like big city. I was only 5 hours away from my mom and dad, so I made the decision to make the big move.
Wow.
And I was going to real estate school um when I met Jonathan. So it's crazy
Mhm.
how it
Well,
all
what
worked.
made you go into real estate?
So I have an accounting background.
Okay.
Um, so I did have a corporate job, a 9 to 5, you may say, and did not really love the corporate lifestyle. I didn't see myself climbing the corporate ladder.
Mhm.
And my family had always had like kind of like involvement in real estate, and I grew up around it. So I thought, let me go take the classes and see, how I would like it. And I ended up making that my career path, and that's the same path I'm on today. So
I love
that's a
it.
great
I love
decision.
it. So, tell me, so once you guys connected and decided to have a relationship, at what point did you say, okay, this is it, and I'm going to go on this journey with him as a professional athlete?
So there was a lot of back and forth because he was in the off season when we met.
Mhm.
So during that time in the off season, he was coming to visit me a lot, and then I had started to go visit him in California. So he was with the Raiders at the time, and they were still in Oakland. So I was making, trips to go out there to see him, and then eventually, like I believe, like 6 or 7 months in, he decided like, okay, it's enough back and forth, like you just go ahead and come live with me, which was for me like different because one, I come from a Middle Eastern family. So
Mhm.
that was like really scary for me to like ask my parents, like, are you guys okay with this?
Yeah.
Like, but I think they had just loved Jonathan so much that they were okay with it. And like at that point, when I decided to move in with him, I really did think he was going to be my husband. Like I don't think I would have made that decision if I didn't see our future, together.
Yeah.
And so, and just the caliber of person that he is,
Mhm.
like, I've never met anyone like him. I've never had anyone that's so protective, so sweet. He's a gentle teddy bear for sure. Like,
Yes.
yeah, and so I just felt like the level of comfort being with him, and he
What
always made me feel that way.
Massa, what other qualities? Because there may be some women out there that's on the fence with a guy that they're currently with, or have feel like they have made poor choices in the past. What are some of the qualities that Jonathan showed that
Mm,
made you say, yeah, I think he's the one, and I
mhm.
trust him enough that I would not just move with him, but move from one state to the next,
Yeah.
hundreds of miles away from my family with this man.
So for me, it was the fact that he always kept his word. If
Mm,
he said he was going to do something, he always did. And he showed me that he's able to lead.
mm,
And that was different for me. I've always been super independent. I've never like I've always had my own, right? Like I've never relied on someone to take care of my rent. I've never had to rely to like move into someone else's home. Like it's always been on me. And like the fact that he was able to reassure me all the time that he's got this and that he's going to protect me and protect not just like, financially, but
mhm.
also just protect my heart, right? I've never had anyone to genuinely feel like they're my best friend. And he made me comfortable enough to like trust him.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing like it's easy to get like love bombed in the beginning and like, oh, this is a fairy tale. But like when it comes to making those hard decisions, like moving in or,
Mhm.
considering marriage, like you have to really look at this person's core. Like, is this person genuine? Is this person able to keep their promises? Is this person able to have shared values with you? Because I don't think it would have lasted as long as it has if me and him didn't have the core values that we do, that we share together. So
Yeah.
again, if you're considering like a long-term relationship where it leads to marriage, I do believe that having those shared values only makes the relationship stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you're saying, and what really resonates with me is, a lot of people talk about financial security, and I do think there's a certain level of importance around that
Mhm.
conversation as well. Not necessarily just on the male, which, as you said, nowadays, a lot of us women, we struggle more with wanting to maintain our independence than wanting a man to provide that financial security for us.
Yeah.
But it is good to know that your partner would do anything to make sure your family's well-being is taken
Yeah.
care of. So that's great. But what I really love and what really resonated with me is it sounds like he provided emotional
Yeah.
security for you. Emotional security is, to me, even more valuable than the financial, because
Exactly.
money can be made, and we as women, especially us good ones, we
Yes.
know how to motivate a man now.
Yes.
We know how to support him to get to where he really wants to be. We know how to do that.
Yes.
So money, that's not as big of a thing to, I think, us. And when I say us, I mean good women,
Mhm.
well-intentioned women. I
Thank you.
think emotional security is more important to us. So
Yes. I
kudos.
agree.
Look, kudos to Jonathan for making sure
Yes.
he had on lockdown.
No, he's been like one and only, right? In my whole life, like I never met a man like him. And I always told myself, like, before him, I had never had such a serious relationship, right?
Mhm.
Because I feel like I'm the type of person, if you're not going to meet my standards, I'm not really going to consider you for the long run, right? Like that's how my mental was before I met him. And I feel like in my head, I was like, once I meet my husband, I'm going to know.
Yeah.
He's going to do the things that I have, the standards that I have. He's going to meet them without me having to go overboard to tell him how to do
Mhm.
it. Like I don't want to teach someone how to treat me, right? Like and he came out of nowhere and he just met all the standards and then above and beyond on some. So for me, it was a breath of fresh air to meet him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what you said about, you didn't want to teach him how to treat you.
Mhm.
I could be kind of on the fence with that because initially I get it, right? Initially, to win over my heart, I need you to know the basic things to do to win over my heart, right?
Mhm.
But long term, I feel like at some point in some area, we all have to teach each other how to treat
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean? Just
No,
basically on differences.
I know, and then this is, like, my mindset before being in this long-term relationship, right?
Mhm,
And so I
mhm,
feel like that was just, like, an easy way for me to dismiss men in my life. And I feel
yeah,
like going through our relationship now, of course, like things are completely different being in a marriage and in a long-term relationship. Like, of course, you have to learn each other. You have to learn your likes and dislikes,
mhm,
what makes them happy, what makes them excited, what makes like, what really fuels them, right? So
mhm.
I feel like we've learned that about each other as well, and we've utilized that tool to help our relationship to be where it is today.
Wonderful. That is so wonderful. Okay, now I want to ask you this question. Not really sure where it may go. Two things. It's a two-part. Um, it sounds like you come from a traditional family. So, first part is, did your parents want you to be married before you made that move? And how did that conversation go? If they did, that's number one. And number two, you said you guys dated for years before you got married.
Mhm.
What were your thoughts and feelings about that? Because some girls, some of us, I should say women, we feel like there's this time frame, and if you haven't proposed to me by then, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I'd like to give some insight to what you were thinking and where that went for you. But
Yeah.
start with your parents.
Yeah, so I do come from a traditionally Middle Eastern background, but I have such amazing parents that
Mhm,
they've never like made me feel like suffocating, like overbearing, anything like that.
mhm,
They have always given their kids freedom to make their own choices. And when I did tell them that I definitely do see Jonathan as a long-term partner, my future husband, they kind of like trusted me and trusted that this is like, truly the path I'm supposed to be on.
mhm,
So they just kind of trusted me in in that endeavor, and just honestly also it helped that they loved him. They also helped that they saw him as the kind person he is and the kind heart that he has. So
yeah,
I think if it was anyone else, it might have been different. It might
mhm.
have been like a different reaction, but with him, they've always been very supportive. They've always been very loving. So um,
Okay.
that part to that question, and the second part,
Mhm,
um, yeah, just the fact that we lived together. It was untraditional for me. I had never lived with anyone, and like we did date. We were engaged for 2 years before our wedding, but
mhm.
before that, I did get pregnant out of wedlock. So our daughter, she was, biggest blessing, but when I first found out, it was a huge panic for me. I was not
Yeah.
expecting to be pregnant, and we had only been dating for a year
Oh,
when it
gotcha.
happened, and
Mhm.
so, of course, I was very afraid of telling my dad. Um, but, like, I didn't tell my dad for, like, 2 months almost because I was afraid of his reaction,
Yeah.
but, again, when I did tell him, it was a big shock because his reaction was complete opposite of what I was expecting. He was like, "This is the biggest blessing, we love Jonathan," like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was they were very happy, and but they did let him know that, they hope that marriage is in
Ah,
the in the path.
love it. Dads will be dads. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, he did say,
We
"Okay,
love
now
them
you have
for
to do
it.
right by her." And so, I mean, for me, it was not like a timeline of like, "Okay, you have to propose to me, like, right away."
Mhm.
But, I think, I think we both knew that at the end that is the goal,
Yeah.
and we just maintained doing the work to create a relationship that was gonna be long lasting.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, of course, every relationship has ups and downs. We've had our hiccups, and I think during that engagement period, we really were able to like work on us and our marriage coming, and like it's been beautiful. Like our relationship has evolved so much from the beginning to now, and we're both committed to continuing that work that's necessary
Yeah.
for the long run.
That's awesome. And how old is your daughter?
She's 4 now.
She's 4. And how old is your son?
My son is 8 months.
8 months. Woo!
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Adorable babies,
Yes.
y'all. She's
Thank
got
you.
adorable babies.
Thank you.
So it sounds like all of that, just going from dating to living together to now being parents,
Mhm.
and a lot of transitions there, right?
Correct.
And in a moment I want to talk a little bit more about transitioning to the marriage, but right here in this moment I want to talk a little bit about you and how we know each other, because
Yeah.
that is a great segue to discuss transitions. So we're both board members of the National Football Wives Association, and I'd love for you to tell them what you do, how you serve on the board, and tell them a little bit of about the organization and what we represent.
Yes, it's a lovely organization to be a part of. I met some amazing women through this journey we're on. And me specifically, I am on the marketing side of the organization. I create most of the flyers you see on our social media. I help with the newsletters, just on the design side of things. You'll
Mhm.
see me on there. But yeah, I think the organization is just such an amazing sisterhood that I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
Um, just the first couple years of being with Jonathan, I didn't have the friendships, and I didn't know that there's organizations that could, bond sisters like the way that NFWA has for us. So, basically, our goal in an organization is to be the sisters that connect you to
Mhm.
one another, retired or active.
Yeah.
We want to be a resource to everyone in this community, in the NFL community. We want to be a helping hand if you need one.
Mhm.
There's lots of transitions that go through. We want to be the person that you come to when you're in need. Like, let's say you don't know who to a doctor in the new city you're moving into. You don't know a doctor. You don't know who to go to get your hair done. You don't know what dentist to go to, what pediatrician to go to. We're creating a resource guide that will help you with that. Even if you want to reach out to us on Instagram, one of us will respond to you and connect you with your new team. Or, I know I've personally had to do that with the Seahawks. I've had a new Seahawks girlie reach out. Oh, can you help me find, you know, girls in Seattle? And surprisingly, I was the one who responded to the message and was able to connect her with our player engagement personnel. So
Yeah.
just being there to support one another has
Mhm.
been a calling. Like it's fulfilled that calling for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It has been phenomenal and authentic and real and true and genuine and supportive and all the things. And even where there's gaps, we have been very intentional to fill those gaps to make
Yeah.
sure that we do it as a board so we can extend that to members as they come into the fold. So yeah, it's been really great, and very excited about what's upcoming and what has passed already. I enjoyed your Detroit huddle. That was
Thank
fantastic.
you for
I
coming.
plan on coming to visit your sister-in-law soon.
Please.
But also I'm looking forward to the future huddle that you have in Detroit. And
Mhm.
um as well as I'm sure you'll be looking forward to being able to come to a Chicago huddle. So
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
it's just really great. So if there's any wives, girlfriends, fiancés that are watching or listening to this podcast, we definitely want to encourage you to join the organization, because we love to be a resource during your time of transition, no matter what type of transition that may be.
Yes,
With
that's true.
that being said, I also want to encourage you guys that are listening that have no attachment to the NFL, that you should look to be this type of support system for other women in your life. What we're doing is a niche, but it doesn't have to be.
Mhm.
We can all be supportive. And even if you just start off with one woman in your life that you say, you know what, once a month, I'm going to check in on her.
Yes.
That's only 12 times a year. And
Yeah.
nowadays it could be a text, and that could end up, really blowing up to a plethora of things. But I bet you that will impact and change that woman's life for the rest of her life, as well as yours.
Yes.
So I hope you do that, because wouldn't you agree, Master, that we are always just going, 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 doing, that sometimes we feel like we would be a burden if we reached out to each other and cried, or shared or vented or whatever. You
I
know
mean,
what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely. I mean, we all go through daily struggles, right? Daily hurdles that we all have to go through, not just in the NFL world, in the regular world also. So to have someone to lean on during hard times, that you never know. They might have gone through similar situations. They might be a voice of reason for you, a
Hmm.
advocate for you. So definitely check on your friends. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of, difficult and challenging times, I love to give a tidbit or a sound bite to our listeners and viewers on a challenging time that we may have experienced in our marriage. So
Mhm.
is there a challenging time that you may have experienced and overcome, or are in the process of
Mhm.
overcoming, that could help us in some kind of way?
Yes. So actually, I think me and Jonathan are about to enter the most difficult phase of our relationship. I mean, aside from becoming new parents, that was a very difficult transition for us to both get used to. But I think this season where he signed with the Seattle Seahawks, we made the decision that it would just be best for me and the kids to move into our new home in Michigan
Yeah.
and start my daughter in preschool and get her, settled in school.
Mhm.
And Jonathan just finishes his last season with the Seahawks, um, basically on his own, which
Yeah.
is sad to say, but yeah, I think that was what was best for the kids.
Mhm.
I do plan on visiting him for game days. The weekends, probably I'll be up there to help him out, do laundry, planning, or whatever. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think we're about to enter the hardest phase where we'll be separated for 5 days out of the week, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of conversations about how that might look and what
Mhm.
needs to be, I guess, our anchor uh,
Mhm.
of keeping us together. And it's going to take a lot of communication, a lot of, trust, a lot of, yeah, just a lot of like being transparent with each other and still involving him in like what's going on at home with the kids,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm not looking forward to being separated for this long, but I
Yeah.
know in the long term it's a blessing and it's going to be something we learn from. So,
Yeah, for sure. And there are some women who either they have to work remotely or their spouse has to work remotely. In what ways are you guys preparing yourself for that?
Yeah, so I feel like for me, I've been the one that's had to kind of sacrifice my career, doing the transitions to different cities those last 3 years. So we were blessed enough to be with the Raiders for 5 years.
Mhm,
And that's why I got my real estate license here in Nevada.
mhm,
And so being able to practice here was a blessing. And then we got traded to Dallas Cowboys for 2 seasons.
mhm,
So, I mean, we were doing the move to Dallas, move back to Vegas during the off season. Which doesn't really allow me to practice my my craft in real estate because
mhm.
can't show you homes if I'm not there.
Right, right.
So I mean, same scenario with the Seattle Seahawks. So I mean, I try to do what I can do in the off seasons when we're home. But yeah, I
Mhm,
mean, it just takes a lot out of me. It just, it's like I've been putting my career on pause, and with good reason. I mean, I love to be there and support Jonathan, but yeah, it was like a little fluke where he re-signed with the Seahawks this year. So I had already made decisions that I'm gonna move to Michigan. I'm gonna start doing real estate there full time. So
mhm,
yeah, I mean, I've that decision's kind of already been made. I'm looking forward to getting a kickstart
mhm,
there, and also like if we think about it, retirement's right around the corner, and I wanna be able to support our family also.
mhm.
Like, that's always been my plan, my goal. I've never, like, imagined being, a stay-at-home mom, like, long term. I
Right.
know it's been necessary, and for the wellness of my kids, it's been great to be, but I've always had a calling to have a career of my own, and just I wanna fulfill that, right? So, yeah, Jonathan agrees. He's very supportive. He's
Mhm.
very excited for me and my endeavors that we have planned once I move to Michigan. So,
That is wonderful. That
yeah,
is wonderful. And kudos to you because,
thank you.
at some point, like he's retiring from football, but
Mhm.
at some point, retirement is real, or at some point, the children get older and they
Yeah,
want to hang out with friends, or they go away to college, or they grow up and start their own lives. And you
right.
want to make sure that for every season, you feel like you have prepared for those. So
Yes.
what I'm hearing you say is you're preparing, for your next season of life,
Yeah.
and he's gonna support you. Maybe he'll stay home with the kids.
You never know. You never
Never
know.
know.
I think it's really hard for Jonathan to sit down.
Yeah, yeah.
He's even in the off season, he's up taking my daughter to school, but I know after retirement he still wants to, find something to get into, if it's even like investing more into real estate, or he has a YouTube channel that he's doing pretty well on,
What's
and
the name of it?
it's called Big Time Hank.
I love it.
Yeah, so if you want to subscribe, that'd be great.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but so I think he wants to use his YouTube platform to possibly maybe get into broadcasting. I don't
Ooh,
know. I don't know where it will lead, but
nice.
I know he's not the type of person to just sit down and let me work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So one of the things that I know about you guys
yeah.
is you have made some major investments to
Mhm.
prepare for your next season of life as well, as an additional stream of income. How intricate were you in those real estate slash
Mhm.
other type of investments?
So, I mean, Jonathan's always had like the want to be an entrepreneur in some aspect. But when I did meet him, just explaining to him like my family's background and how we were able to maintain our lifestyle and our life through real estate and using like investments in that to like pay off our mortgage in 3 years, like just
Wow.
things like that, like we're able to like motivate him, and
Mhm.
also just making the best connections that we could once we moved to Las Vegas. Honestly, like our business partners and our financial advisor have been the biggest blessing, and I just thank the Lord that he put us in the right path of the right people, and we've had some great I guess opportunities come our way, and one of them being is that Jonathan was able to invest in a plot of land in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like a majority owner of 26 acres. And
Wow.
we were approached by Wyndham hotels
Mm-hmm.
to build on our land.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been a big blessing. So they're only utilizing about like I think 8 acres, like not even 10 acres of it. So
Wow. So that's a lot left.
we still have a lot of land left for other like
Right.
businesses to come,
Yeah.
build on there also. But yeah, so
That sounds like a strip mall dream. You
exactly.
know, with the hotel there.
Right. So we went and visited the site. It's in Blackfoot, Idaho, and there's not a lot of development there,
Mm-hmm.
It's a pathway to the Yellowstone. So
Mm-hmm.
that was like one of the major selling points for us is that there
Oh,
is not a lot of hotels there.
wow.
So not only are we going to be leasing the land to Wyndham, we are going to be like shareholders in the hotel as well.
Beautiful.
So, and we're building the hotel for them. So they're
Yeah.
paying us for the land, they're paying us to build it, and then we're getting a percentage of the sales. So, I mean,
Listen, we need a whole nother podcast episode where you tell us
how,
how to invest like that, but also
yes,
how to pay off our homes in 3 years. Girl,
yes,
my
it's
ears are
it's
ringing like
possible. It's
3 years.
very possible.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Yes.
Everybody's like shaking their
So,
head. I could feel the energy like bobbleheads. Like, yeah, we want to know. We
yeah.
want to know. So cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to
I
put
got
that.
you, girl. I mean, there's also opportunities for you to invest in hotels. Like, um,
Mm,
there is so many grants out there for
wow.
African Americans and minorities to
Mhm.
become hotel owners. Like, that
Mhm.
is one major reason we did this is because we were given grants by the government to become
Wow.
owners.
Wow.
So it's it's waiting for everyone. It's just like the information just needs to be passed
Yeah,
on.
disseminated.
So, yes.
Listen, y'all hear that? Look up the grants for Black people to get ownership in
Hotel ownership,
hotels.
yes.
Run, run. Thank
Right.
you, Massa. Look, we say thank you, Massa.
You're up.
Seriously, that's the hook
Yeah.
up, the ultimate hookup. So
Yes.
tell me this. Back to your marriage.
Yes.
You know, you mentioned earlier that you guys had, and I know I'm not saying this verbatim, but there was some work that had to be done as
Mhm.
you were growing into your marriage season. So pre-marriage into early marriage.
Mhm.
What type of work did you guys do to help you learn how to communicate with each other better?
So I feel like, again, we did have a child kinda early in our relationship, and I feel
Mhm.
like neither of us were necessarily prepared
Mhm.
of the amount of work that comes with having a baby.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And so as far as like me being a little overbearing and like him being off at work, that's where I think we clashed the most is like me feeling like I was taking on too much and him
Mhm.
thinking, well, you're not letting me help, you know? And
Mm.
so I think that's where like the struggle came for us is
Wow.
the reality check of having a newborn, right? Like
But also the reality check of how we may get settled into being this independent woman, but
Yes.
once we get into a committed relationship, we have to learn how to let them in.
Yes.
We have to
Yes.
learn how to let them help,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, just like going through the transition of just being you two. Like you can go wake up whenever you want to wake up, go eat out whenever you want
Yeah.
to, go to the movies, and then here you go, like you have a brand new newborn. I'm not sleeping. He has to wake up at 5, 6 a.m. to go to work. So I'm not going to wake him up in the middle of the night.
Right.
And you don't have your village here in the city that you're, just going, living while he goes to work. So yeah, it was a lot as a new mom. And I feel like um, I didn't know it then, but I was in postpartum depression, I would say.
Mm.
Just not being able to shower when I wanted, not being able to eat when I want to, not being able to call him when I'm in distress,
Yeah.
I feel like I was in depression and I couldn't voice it to him, and like I just didn't see how he could even help,
Yeah.
like it's like I was taking on so much. Now, thankfully, he saw me struggling so much, and we did have to get a nanny. And our nanny has been like the biggest blessing. She
Mm.
works with me still, like with our second son. She's here watching him now.
Aw.
But yeah, so once having her around, I think allowed me to get back to who I am,
Mhm.
and I know at first when I was pregnant, I'm like, I'm not gonna need a nanny. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna be completely on my own, like, but you don't realize how much you really need a village. You need
Mhm.
support. Like I can't even bounce back to my pre-pregnancy weight because I can't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that. Who's good, like things like that I didn't take into consideration. And I feel like I was allowing those thoughts to take over during postpartum.
Yeah.
And I think some of it was spilling over into our relationship, and I needed him to like, I guess, understand a little bit what
Mhm.
postpartum depression is and how to like, even when I don't ask for help, offer help. That those were the things that we really had to like work on. Is
Yeah.
like those things that I was like silently expecting him to do.
Mhm.
Excuse me. And resenting him not for not doing it, but I
Yeah.
wasn't able to communicate it to him, right?
Yeah.
So I, on my part, had to learn to voice what I need
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
him to do vice versa. I can't read him, he can't read me. We need to be communicating that. And I
Yeah.
think that 2-year engagement period, we learned to love each other again after like going through the hardship that we went through with having a brand new baby.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
took a lot from both of us.
Yeah, and that was powerful because we do, I feel like as mothers
Hmm.
sometimes have resentment that builds up in us because of the level of responsibility that comes with motherhood that may not necessarily be equal or the same
Yes.
for our spouses, and figuring out a way to talk through that and to work through that together
Yeah.
is in itself very healing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because I remember too when first of all, I feel blessed because Ray and I had conversations even before we had the
Mhm.
baby, because we would ask couples, what do we have to do to make sure our marriage lasts? And when I tell you, we got answers from don't get married all the way to good, helpful answers,
Yes.
But one of the things that stood out to Ray was older marriages and how he felt like, sometimes they were grouchy with each other and
Mm.
spoke very disrespectfully to each other. But the other thing he recognized was how once women had children, how the dynamic of the relationship changed sexually. And
Yes.
he was like, what I gotta do to make sure that that doesn't fall off?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
was like, okay, good question. And I was so glad because back, we're older than you guys. So my youngest is 18, my oldest is 27. And so when I had my oldest, um, that's when men started coming to baby showers.
Mm,
Like men weren't even going to baby showers back then. So
right,
that
right.
was very telling how involved they were or were not, with the children. So one of the things that he did at the onset is he insisted that he be a part of the baby shower.
Yeah.
And not only that, he invited friends. And so we had a bunch of NFL players
Yeah.
playing games at the baby shower. It was fantastic. It was
Same
amazing.
with mine. It was great.
It was a great time because,
It was great.
they always bring the funny, make it
Yes,
funny.
yes.
So, but it was just it from the beginning, it was beautiful because he trained me in advance on relinquishing some of the responsibilities to him.
Right,
And I
right.
will share quickly one experience where when Ray was playing, he would also do speaking engagements when people would invite him to come and
Yeah.
speak. Girl, this man forced me to let him take our first newborn child with him to a speaking
No.
engagement.
I would have just gone crazy.
I was like, no, how are you gonna take care of him while you're on stage talking? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I got it. And packed him up and went out the door. And I was just like, oh my God, But it was hilarious because he felt like the experience was even more impactful for the people there because he had vomit on his suit and he was able to make a joke about that, but
Yeah,
also encourage other men to be involved in
right.
that, in that capacity. And it was just phenomenal. And the invitation came from someone we knew. So that person was the one who watched our son while he was on stage. So it was so cool. But if
Great
he didn't
experience.
force me,
Yeah.
Massa, if he didn't force me, I
Would've
would
done
have probably lost my mind because my baby
it.
was colicky. My son was colicky. So
Mm.
he would cry nonstop at
That was
times.
my daughter, my first. So
Mhm.
the same thing. I feel like I was overbearing. Like I didn't even I think Jonathan changed like 5 diapers my first baby. Like
Okay.
like when she was a newborn. Yeah, like I don't think I let him do anything.
Yeah, you were super overbearing
Yeah,
because I
I was
didn't,
give me the baby. Like, no.
yeah, them diapers, yes,
It's
I will take your
completely
help.
different with my second one. I tell you now, like, okay, you got the baby. I'm
Your
gonna go.
turn.
Here you go.
I love it. I love
Yes.
it.
He
Yeah.
he's so involved. I mean, even as our daughter got older, like it started to change, right? Like I feel like once she was out of the newborn stage, once the colic had calmed down,
Mhm.
it was just easier for them to bond.
Yeah.
But with my second one, he's a pro. Like he'll let me sleep in, take care of the babies. I'll come out. He's already got breakfast for the toddler. He's feeding the second one. It's just
Yes.
he's a pro daddy now.
Ah,
And
love
I've
it.
learned to let go of control at some
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
that's teamwork at its finest,
it's teamwork and it's trust. And like, you know, you gotta give it.
Yes, yes. I hope you guys are picking up what she's putting down because I think most moms are overbearing with the firstborn. And if we don't include the husband, then we don't have energy to do our other wifely duties.
Yes.
Let's just keep it real because we're exhausted. We're
Yeah.
exhausted. And your body is trying to get back in place and all that. So,
Mhm.
it's a give and take. And I think it is a great lesson or a great tip to know yourself enough to know if you are creating the divide in your marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. It took a lot of self-reflection. It took a lot of, okay, you're getting in the same argument over and over again. What's the solution and what's stemming from?
Yeah.
So we both had to look in the mirror and say, hey, it's not going to work long term if you continue this pattern.
Yeah.
And so it takes work from both parts. It's not, you can't blame one another when it
Mhm.
comes to your marriage. If you want it to last, you have to be able to self reflect and correct.
Yeah.
And try to break that pattern. So, and whenever I think that applies to whatever, you know, you're going through in your marriage. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Beautiful. So tell me, as we close,
Mhm.
the title of the podcast is Wife for Life. And that term is very intentional because it's my goal.
Mhm.
And it's also a goal of mine to help other women be there, have that mindset and be that goal oriented, because the divorce rate has been around 50% for years. And I
Yes.
want to be a part of the solution.
Yes.
And also because I feel like in order for a marriage to be successful, each individual has to work on themselves
Mhm.
and evaluate what they're bringing to the table, what they're bringing to the marriage. So, when you think of the term wife for life,
Mhm.
what does a wife for life look like? What does she act like? What does she sound like?
Mhm.
Share with me, even if it's just in one word, what is a wife for life to you?
Yeah, a wife for life is someone that's willing to go through the hurdles of
Mhm,
marriage and life. A wife for life, I think, is able to adapt, is able to listen to her partner's needs and the needs of their family, and able to, yeah, like they say the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck.
mhm,
That's very true. I feel like if you believe in that, if you have that dynamic in your household, um, I think you're, it has to be a point where you both can take criticism and you both can, receive it, right? I feel like if my partner didn't like respect my opinion or vice versa, then I don't think we'd be in it for a long run, right? I feel like a wife for life has to let him lead, but also don't forget you have a voice in the marriage too.
mhm,
Like, um, so I think that's very important. And just wife for life is like sharing your foundation with your husband, sharing your goals with your husband, the trajectory of your kids' futures, um, being able to always put them first, but also don't forget to put your partner first too.
mhm.
It's very important, because when the kids are gone, it's just you and him, and you gotta have something, to
Yeah.
hold on to. I think what makes me a wife for life is that I see my husband as my best friend. I see him as my soulmate. So yeah, he's stuck with me forever until we're old and gray and having to push each other's wheelchairs around probably. So yeah, I say whatever you do is pour into each other. Keep your problems like, it's okay to speak to a therapist, but I feel like solve your issues with each other. Like, like if you have a problem, talk to them first, see how you could solve it within,
Yeah.
uh that's one thing we've been doing great at, is just like we don't go to bed mad at each other. We try to resolve an issue we have the same day. um so yeah, I think just hold on to each other and never forget, your purpose
Mm,
and your vows. So it's very important.
that is fantastic. Never forget your purpose and your vows.
Hmm.
I love it. I mean, that is the most beautiful way to close out this episode, guys, is to hold on to each other and never forget your purpose and your vows. The word is wife,
Hmm.
and a wife has purpose in the marriage. And if we focus on what we bring to the table, then we can, as First Peter 3 says in the word, we can impact and influence our husbands to focus on their role as well.
Yes.
Massa, thank you so
Thank you,
much
Michelle.
for being on the episode.
It was amazing. So
Awesome.
thanks
I
for
am
having me
so
part of
serious.
it.
we need a part two. We need
Yes,
we
please.
need a part two where we got money talk going on.
Yeah,
Where
I got you. We could get a whole team of people on here that have helped me. So
For sure, for sure. Like, we could get a team of people, even other people who have
yeah,
made some great financial moves or have great financial insights. I
yes,
don't know about y'all, but I would love that. I would
yeah,
absolutely love that because Ray and I have done some things, but I don't think I know everything just because I've been
no,
here for a few times
exactly.
around the moon.
Same.
So, with that being said, thank you for saying yes to
Thank
number
you.
two. We will get that on the books, y'all, and we
Yeah,
will let you know about it. But guys, listen, thank you too for listening to another episode of Wife for Life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm praying for your marriages. And I hope that you got as much from Massa as I did, because man, it was a lot of nuggets in there that we could take as far as picking the right partner, as far as developing healthy communication in marriage, financial investments for the next season of life, all kind of things, supporting your husband, and also recognizing your purpose. So, hey, I hope you got those, but I also hope that if you got those, that you will share. We are a community, or at least we should be as women, supporting other women. So, listen, if you really like this episode, please share it, subscribe, follow, all the things, y'all, all the great, good things, wonderful things. And hey, come back, listen to another episode, watch another episode of Wife for Life. We enjoy having Massa, but we also
thank
enjoy
you
having you. Thank you, Massa.
so much.
Have a good one, everyone. Happy loving.